So today we're back onto CB radio, having done that business radio yesterday, which was Sunday. So we've got Midland Port-A-Pak, and it is the 77805 UK. There's two versions of this. There is the one which doesn't say UK, and there's one that does, and they've got differences on the receive. So I think we're going to be taking this lid off. This is in immaculate condition. And this radio, the customer says, works perfectly. He just wants it servicing. He's actually sent two in, so we know what we're doing today and tomorrow. And then we've got some kind of 40 channel handheld, Harvard, Harrier, something like that. That's a forthcoming attraction. Well, I won't have to unsolder a speaker, will I, on one of these? I'm tempted to run this off our crocodile clip leads rather than the cigarette lighter, see whether we can actually get onto that. It's just that the 2.5 amp power supply, which goes to the crocodile clips, has got LED metering on it, whereas the cigarette lighter one goes to our 18 amp power supply, which, although it has meters on it, they're analog meters, and it's a bit hummy. Well, that doesn't help, does it? Perhaps that's it. So it's 19 somewhere amongst there. Oh, we've got air conditioning on again. And more valuable than the radio itself, the microphone. Which is a true speaker mic. So I've got the circuit diagram I've printed off. And I've got the layout with some notes which I've printed off. So we'll start with this one. We'll plug it into the test gear, and this is serial number 1765. So it's Midland 77805 UK, and it's 1765. So we'll plug it into the test set, and if I can find the extension speaker amongst the ramelon here. And we'll go to channel 20. Select picture in picture. I promise you I've pressed the button and it's showing on my monitor, but that doesn't mean much. It seems to have a mind of its own. So I'm going to start off on the low scale, 3 watts. Hello? Why am I getting nothing? Because I've pressed the wrong button. So it's doing 3 watts. 3.1 watts. Deviation. Oh, of course we're doing that other thing, weren't we, yesterday? That 4 meter radio. So just need to reset the gear. So 27 megs. Wallow, a bit low. Wallow. 1.6 kilohertz, a bit quiet. Frequency. Let's put the camera onto that. 79115. Should be 79125. It's neither here nor there, you know. As far as that's concerned, it is spot on. But we are here to do what's necessary. Oh, what my ceramic tool looks broken. One of them. There we go, 2779125. So that's that done. And we'll do receive as well while we're doing the tests. So just set that with the signal generator. So we'll put the cyanide meter on, and we'll get that so we've got... Actually, this isn't very good. It's actually 2.4 microvolts for 12 dB cyanide. That's quite poor. Okay, we'll go over to transmit. I'm looking at my notes. If I could even read 107 and 8, they're going to be those. I can't read that, but they're going to be those. So transmit 3.1 watts. So that was peak. That was peak. .8 watts. And 4 watts it is. Just check we're somewhere near on the other channels. 3.9 watts, 4.1 watts. I'll just turn this one the other way. So that takes us down, that takes us up. No, it doesn't want to go that way. No, we've got to be satisfied at that. .9, 4.1. So that's that done. Deviation. So according to this, deviation should be 105. There. Wallow, spot on. So it's normally, this is what means. It's 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz. So if I do a whistle, it hits 2.5. If I just speak reasonably right into the microphone, it's 2.2. Don't need to ever exceed 2.5. So that's that done. So let's check low power. So switch to low power, and it should be 0.4. It's 0.1. It's probably that preset I fiddled with. 501. .801. Yeah, it was the one I fiddled with. That's brought us back to 0.4 of a watt. On the we'll do the power meter while we're at it on the front panel. TX meter for the 4 LEDs. One should light, and it's RV103. So on low power, one should light. Why have we got non-lighting? Is this a fault he hasn't mentioned? They've got no LEDs, have we? Oh. Well, we'll get on with the rest of it. Right, so 107, no, 101, 102, 103. So 101, 102, 103. So that's already peak. Oh, just change to the cyanide meter. That's already at peak. That's already at peak. And that's already at peak. Can't remember what that does. 106. Well, that's at peak as well. Oh, we've got a radio that's deaf. Not good at all. So having gone through it, it's now, what's that, 10? Yeah, it's dreadful, 2.4. Okay, we better take the other lid off. I'll pause the video. So we've moved on to bench 4, which is Mr Chippie's bench, and Mr Chippie is here on bench 4 using the microscope to look at this printed circuit board for dry joints, and we've certainly found one or two on there. Oh, he's going to get the soldering bat on it, is he?
That one looks a bit sus.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's how we're going through this. We're not charging for dry joints because when it stops working in 10 minutes time, the customer won't moan because we didn't charge for it. So there we go. That's test bench 4 and on the video microscope. So hopefully we'll go back onto the normal test bench and carry on the tune-up. So we're back on the bench. We're now on Wednesday. We started this on Monday, but you know, the things have had to be done. And this has taken up far too much of the available time for radios, and it's not right yet by a long way. Seem to have got rid of the dry joints, which is now consistently poor receive. Just do the detector, which I'm sure is that coil, and that's absolutely fine. So that's 100 microvolts. You know, that's like 3 microvolts, which is rubbish. Now the other thing is, of course, we've still got no display here, and there's no point messing about with the presets. There's clearly no display. If we go into transmit, we've got plenty of transmit, but there's no display. I think I'm going to have to take the front off this, and we'll just see whether anything's viable, because at some point I'm sometimes going to be better off sending it back not working rather than us spending hours and hours and hours on the kind of fixed price service that we do. So I think this is probably being dropped. You see, you don't know what's cracked inside. Now the customer thinks this set works, but we actually know it. Hey, the display's, aha! As I pulled, so it looks like we've got a broken track or a dry joint on this panel. So if I pull the knobs off, hopefully we'll get to the bottom of that. Okay, so we seem to have got rid of the dry joints for today, and it's now receiving a not that brilliant 0.6 microvolts for 12 decibel sign-on. Oh, perhaps I'm being a bit... Let's see. 0.57. Not as good as they usually are, but that's the maximum it will do. So we'll set up the meters now, and I've done the detector behind the scenes. The detector, I think I did it behind the scenes. The detector is that one, and I want this to show S9 now. So what have we got? S meters 102. So that looks like to be the S meter. Put the signal up a bit more and it does do plus 30. I just went through the board for dry joints. There's 4 connections for the 4 LEDs go to the driver chip, and I've just looked around there for dry joints where it goes onto the front panel, and it's working solidly today. Of course it won't be when he gets it back. Transmit. So we know the radio's doing... I've not got the mic plugged in. I wonder if it's a bit quiet. transmit. So we know it's doing the full 4 watts. And when I press transmit, I'm wanting it to light all 4. And I think it's the control is 103. Which is there. So press transmit. And they won't not light, so we'll do it on the low power. I don't know what I've covered and what I haven't now because it's been so long. So press transmit. We actually ideally want that to be 1. I'm on the wrong preset. That's where we want it. So go back to full power, lights all 4. Go back to receive because I've messed it up. It's still on S9. As it happens, I've got it back in the right place. Just check it moves up. It does. Good. So that just leaves us with Squelch. And Squelch is 101. That's at the front there by the looks of things. So let's see how the Squelch works. I'll just turn the volume down a bit. So I'll put this on the attenuator controls. And we want it to show... I want it on full Squelch. And now we're going to put the attenuator up to 100 microvolts, which is when I want it to come in. 3, 10, 30, 100 doesn't come in. So that's far too strong a Squelch. So we'll drop that down. If I'm on the right preset. Well, it doesn't look like it's the right preset. That doesn't make sense. It looks like 101, and 101 is Squelch. I'll just look at what the board says if I can. Yeah, it says 101. And when we look at the circuit diagram, we've got the Squelch control here. And 101 looks to be the preset. Yep. Well, I don't get that. It is having effect, yeah. Yeah. So I'll have that at minimum. It doesn't really work how I want it to, that's the point. It's one of those squelchers. Good grief. What kind of signal is that? Yeah, it's not going to want to do that. Let's go to the other end. I've set it to minimum. And let's see where the sensitivity is at the other end. So set it to Squelch, threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. It's coming in at 0.7 of a microvolt and dropping off at 0.49. 0.7, 0.49. So that's a useful Squelch range, and there shouldn't be a problem doing scratchy corner with this set. So it's not as sensitive as I would like. but it's not so insensitive that it needs repair, which would be beyond its value. So we've brought that down to 0.6 microvolts. Or was I being unfair? Not 0.58. So that's it. So put it back together and make sure it still works. So to conclude, in contrast, he's sent another set in, and this works very well indeed. So not had to do much at all to this one. So again, it was 3.1 watt, it's now 4. Deviation was virtually spot on. Frequency was virtually spot on. Sensitivity is an incredible 0.22 microvolts. I can't change that, but I've been through everything and it works absolutely great. So it's that one we'll put on the aerial, and then we'll conclude the video. I might just get Mr Chippie to have a look at that other one, but if I get Mr Chippie to look at it, it could be in his queue for 2 weeks. I'll try and get these out pretty quickly. I don't think the customer's desperate. You can always tell me if he is. So we're on the aerial. See if there's any good budgies out there. One nano, Roger. That's local quarry workers, I recall. We've got a bit of a lift on again. Yeah, we've got stuff coming in from a very long way away. So that's the Midland 77805, which is the Port-A-Pak set. So I think we'll have another look at that set, otherwise we'll be sending it back with no fee. So thanks for watching.